Hugh, we got to start with last night. So there's the good and there's the not good, right? The good, actually the great. How about Ranger Suarez? I mean, this is
trying to get paid.
And he's going to get paid if he pitches like this.
Yes.
He was. I mean, I thought for about 3 innings there in the middle, like around the second, third, fourth inning, I was like, he might do this tonight. He might throw a no-hitter. He had that kind of stuff last night. Look, he made one mistake in the 8th inning. I mean, he pitched as good of a game as you can against a team that hits lefties on the road in Houston. He was remarkable last night. He deserved better than a loss in that game.
Yeah, and I got a chance to look in on that game, man, and it was like in the 5th inning or something, and it was still 0-0, and I was like, oh, we have a pitcher's duel going. And you know what? Immediately, what I thought about, man, it would be nice to have Bryce Harper if he was ready to go.
Well, sure would.
And because especially after the conversation that we were having yesterday about how they were doing without him, those are the type of moments, in my opinion, that Bryce Harper kind of lives for. Might not necessarily be a majestic home run, but put a run on the board. That's kind of what you need in that moment. Maybe move some runners or something like that. But I immediately thought about him and him not being out there. If he was, maybe this would be a different outcome.
Well, it should have been a different outcome. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So Ranger gives up a home run the bottom of the 8th. Then we get to the top of the 9th. And, Hugh, what bothered me last night and frustrated me last night was you could see the Phillies losing a postseason game just like that, right? We have. And I could see it happening this October where they get excellent starting pitching and late in the game, whether it be the starter, if he's still out there, was Ranger, or maybe it's one of the bullpen guys, the other team scores a run, right? Eventually you're going to give up a run. And the offense just couldn't get anything back. And then we fast forward to the top of the 9th inning. And the game ended with Johan Rojas to bat. He strikes out against Josh Hader. And it wasn't just that he struck out. I mean, before the at-bat, you could have predicted he probably wasn't going to get a hit off of one of the best closers in baseball. But it was the at-bat. It's the way he approached the at-bat. Let's listen to T-Mac and Rube last night on the broadcast, NBC Sports Philadelphia, describing how they felt watching Rojas go through that final at-bat.
2-0.
I would really like to see Johan take a pitch here to put a little heat on Hader to throw strikes, especially with Trey Turner hitting next.
Nope. That was ball 3. You got to take a pitch there. I know you're not going to always get a fastball, but you're down 1. You're in the top of the 9th inning. You're the number 9 hitter. This guy's got 3 hits, 2 extra base hits against Hader.
Totally agree with you.
I love the note from T-Mac.
Yeah,
nope.
shout out to T-Mac, too. He became a grandpa.
He did, yes.
Became a grandpa, man, so shout out to that, man. He became a grandpa. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, congratulations to the McCarthy family. Hugh, that was – look, did I go into the at-bat expecting Rojas to get a hit? No. But that you got to take that pitch at 2-0. I mean, you're inviting – if Hader throws 2 more balls in that at-bat, you're getting the top of the order, right? You're getting Trey Turner back to the plate. You're getting a chance to get Schwarber to the plate to maybe win the game. It was a bad at-bat. There are always bad at-bats by Johan Rojas. And the whole thing is extremely frustrating because you have Rojas who can't execute an at-bat in a big moment if his life depended on it. And then you get Topper who let him hit in that spot. So when you watched that last night and you saw it played out, who do you blame? Is it Rojas for the at-bat or is it Topper for just letting him hit to begin with?
Rojas. That's Rojas' fault. There's been too many times since I've been here, and I'm only going in a 3-year sampling size because that's how long I've been here.
Well, that's been his career.
Yeah. And there's been moments. What was it? The Arizona game? Was it the Arizona
series? Yep.
Yeah, where he left the bat on his shoulders, and we went home, and people were upset about it. And the reason why I say it's his fault because you had to know that the way that game was going, that there is a strong possibility that you might be in that situation. And for you not to take a pitch, see, this is what I was talking about yesterday when I said that, or the other day when I talking about players reverting to what they know, reverting to the mean.
Yeah.
No matter how well you've been trying to hit or anything like that, you get into a moment and you do what's comfortable. And for him, what's comfortable is swinging at everything that he sees. You can't. You have to be smart in a situation like that. So it's his fault because you've had. For a person that has been given as many opportunities as you've been given to stick and stay.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
For you not to evolve as a player, that's on you. And Topper, I know it's easy to blame Topper in this situation because he's the manager and he has to have a feel for his players. But you also have to give your players a chance to grow. You can't stunt his growth. You can't take him out in that moment because you know what potentially is going to happen. You have to let him work through that. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. So that's Rojas' fault.
Yeah, so I understand your point, but I'm done waiting for Rojas to grow. I put that on Rob Thompson last night, and I understand the bench isn't exactly – Matt Stairs isn't sitting there. I understand that. You don't have that kind of pinch hitter on the bench. But last night's bench did have some of their regular players, right? Brandon Marsh was on the bench because a lefty had started the game, and Max Kepler's on the bench because a lefty had started the game. Bryson Stott was on the bench because a lefty had started the game. And I know a lefty is on the mound and Hader, and it's nasty. I get that. But sometimes I think Rob Thompson is too beholden to this is what I'm doing here, and this is the platoon advantage, and I got to send the righty up against the lefty. In that spot last night, anyone on the bench would have given him a better at-bat than Rojas. Anyone. I mean, you could have picked any of the three of them out. Stott, because maybe he'd work a walk. Marsh has actually hit better against lefties this year than he used to hit. And if they don't think Max Kepler could run into a home run there, then why is he even on the team anymore? They gave him $10 million. I'm not asking him to go up there and be an all-star. Just swing for a home run, and maybe you run into one and it's a tie game. We always joke about the definition of insanity. It's insanity to send Rojas to the plate against that guy, maybe the best closer in baseball, one of the top 3 or 4, and expect him to get a hit. I mean, what player has Thompson been watching for the last 3 years that he thinks all of a sudden – Rojas is going to get a hit? There's no shot he was getting a hit last night.
Now, there have been times where the moment wasn't as big that he's come up with. Remember when he was sitting down because he couldn't bunt?
Yeah.
And he had some moments where he could bunt. To me, Joe, in that situation, when you talk about the way the game was going and the person that gave you the best chance to get on base with his speed, to me, that's Rojas.
But he can't get on base.
Yeah, that's the thing. But you can't hide him from the moment. You have to at some point. He has to step out of it. This is where, for me, I look at the young players and I'm like, dude, you have to grow and evolve as a player because the teams are always looking to upgrade. And fortunate enough for you, they haven't found an adequate upgrade for you yet, but it's coming. And you have to know, like in moments like the one that you had last night, like your teammates are looking at you and the manager's looking at you, and they're like, dog, what you call it last time he had it, the game finds him.
The game always finds him.
The game finds him, and every time the game finds you, you come up short, you're on the clock.
Well, he should be on the clock.
Yeah, he's on the clock.
He can't hit. I mean, it's been 3 years. Rojas can't hit. I mean, we all know this. And I just thought last night was another example of Rob Thompson being too robotic. I mean, sometimes I like Topper, and I think overall over 162, he keeps the guys loose and calm, and he's done some good stuff this year, and he doesn't have a great bullpen to work with. I don't think he's bad. But I do think in big moments, he's too robotic in lefty-righty, lefty-righty. We see that with the lineup until this year where he got a little bit more flexible with that. Last night, they went down with Sosa, Buddy Kennedy, and Johan Rojas. Again, I understand lefty-righty, and I understand why there's a platoon advantage and why teams like to exploit that. You're telling me Buddy Kennedy and Johan Rojas gave you a better chance last night than Kepler or Marsh or Stott? It's only because they're lefty-righty. That's what last night was. I know that last night is not an October game, but that felt like a big game, and it felt like the kind of game that we're going to play in the playoffs. There's going to be a game in October.
This is the gauntlet that we were talking about.
And the Astros are obviously a playoff team, and they've got great pitch. Like last night, it was the Astros, right? But that same game last night we could do against the Cubs or the Dodgers or the Mets in the postseason. It could be the same exact game. And I watched it, and I'm like, he's really going down with Buddy Kennedy and Rojas. I put last night on Topper at the end. 215-592-9494. Let's hear Rob Thompson after the game last night. I guess giving credit to Rojas. Here's Topper.
Rojas gets up 2 on the count against Hader there. Would you like to see him take a pitch? Especially since that one's out of the zone.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
What is that?
I think it was a strike, so might as well waffle on it. You're not going to get too many good pitches to hit.
And I know it's left on left, but lefties have actually got Hader a little bit this year. Like, do you consider at all shooting the lefty there? No.
That's a disastrous sequence of answers by Rob Thompson. First of all, almost like the shrug and sigh, like, what are you going to do? And then he said he didn't even consider the lefties.
Well, you got to believe in your guys.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to believe in Johan Rojas.
You have to believe that they're going to try to come through in a moment. Now, I get it. And for Top, it's probably still he's considering this early. And as we progress through this, there might be some adjustments made. But, man, come on, Rojas. There's been too many opportunities that you've had that some would say that you've squandered, especially when you talk about the Otto Kemp situation a few weeks ago when he had to lay down a bunt, and he did that. And somebody asked him, when was the last time you laid out a bunt? And he said it was like 1982 or something because you know he old.
I was waiting for the old joke.
Yeah, the old joke.
I think he said it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was like but the point is this. It was a while ago, and you have to know the moment, and you have to know what's needed in the moment. You know, and Rojas has been up here long enough to know that, man, hell, work that count. Work it as much as you possibly can. Try to get somebody else up to bat. If you can't get the job done, at least put somebody in position that can get.
And he's batting ninth, which means Trey and Schwarber
That's
are
what
next.
I'm saying. Put somebody else in position that could get it done. You know, but you know, it's one of those things where you have to grow. If you want to be here, you have to grow.
Yeah, I'm done with the growth on Rojas. He can't play. I mean, he cannot hit at a major league level. And the fact that Topper said he didn't even consider the lefties and even the question was kind of thrown at him with the backdrop of lefties have hit Hader better this year than in the past. And it was even the numbers we were in there to support, hey, you pick your lefty. I don't care which one you throw up there. Stott because he could work a walk, Morris because he's hit lefties better, or Kepler because he obviously has the most power. Throw one of them to the plate. Give me a shot there. Instead, it's Rojas. Kyle back in the studio here. What'd you feel last night? Who do you blame as Rojas goes down and they waste a great Ranger start?
Yeah, that's on Topper. Like, I think we all know what Johan Rojas is at this point. He's a turd. He's not very good as a hitter.
Well, and some of us are waiting for him to take a lead.
I know, and no, Hugh, you don't have to trust your guys if your guys stink.
You do have to trust
No, you don't.
Guys.
Did you trust Rojas in that moment? Then why should Rob Thompson, who sees him every single day?
I was willing to give him a chance.
Oh, jeez. Nobody with eyes thought he was getting a hit last night.
No, and I understand that Dave Dombrowski didn't load this roster up with great options in that moment. They could use a right-handed bat, sure. But you're going to sit here and tell me there were no better options than Johan Rojas to take that at bat at that moment? By the way, they brought it up when they were talking to Topper after the game. Hader against left-handed pitching this year, left-handed batters have a 905 OPS
so
against
lefties
Hader.
Have crushed him.
And a 4.79 for righties. So, like, that's a fine spot to put a left-handed hitter. I don't know, maybe Max Kepler, who's, he had like one hot week and then he's cooled off, so maybe not him. But how about Brandon Marsh? I mean, he was one of the hottest hitters on the team for a while. And by the way, he's finally catching up with his splits. He's hitting left-handed pitching well. Yep. So, like, I don't know. Like, Johan Rojas is probably the last guy I can think of that should take that at bat in the moment. You can even put Bryson Stott there. And, like, by the way, with the count being 2-0, like, T-Mac and Rube were right. Take another freaking pitch, dude. Just try and pass the baton over to Trey Turner. And Topper needs to be on that, too. Like, he needs to talk to Johan Rojas, and they need to discuss, like, these kind of outcomes and these kind of possibilities here. Like, I don't know. That can't happen in a postseason game, or else I think we'll all be ripping Topper.
I totally agree with that, but let's workshop this a little bit. If who gives you the best chance of scoring if they get on base? Is it Marsh or Rojas?
Right. Well, it's Rojas, but he's
like
the least likely to get on base.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Marsh is fast too.
No, but when I said that Rojas gives you the best chance.
Rojas' speed is.
But Marsh gives you a better chance to get on base. You need to get on
base
to score.
But you're looking to try to score right and extend the game.
But you gotta crawl before you can
need
walk.
This
guy can't crawl.
I hear what you're saying, and that's why I've said that you are in a position, Rojas, where you have to work the count. You got to get on base.
Well,
that should be your
by
number.
The way,
however that happens, you need to get on base.
It doesn't even matter if he's on base. There's a guy in front of him who's going to move up into scoring position if he gets on. So it's not about how fast Rojas is. Like, I mean, I guess you can.
Well, I look at it more so.
You can take the lead with him, but like,
that's what I'm saying. He's the tying run.
But all you need in that moment is somebody to get on base and move that runner up to second base, because that's the tying run right there.
And he's the least likely to do it. I mean, there's people today that I'm sure going to be on Dombrowski, and I agree. All agree they got to improve the team, but Topper's got to manage the team he had last night, and I just. Can we hear Topper again after the game? This just sounded to me like a manager just like shrugged his shoulders, like, what are we going to do? Tough day. Let's hear Topper again after his 9-hitter goes up there and has an awful at-bat to the point where, T-Mac's pretty reserved. T-Mac doesn't usually...
Yeah, he was a little salty.
He's right. All right, let's hear Topper again after the game last night, who just, again, this is an audible or audio shrug of the shoulders. Here it was, Topper on Rojas.
Rojas gets up 2-0 on the count against Hader there. Would you like to see him take a pitch? Especially since that one got out of the zone.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a strike, so you might as well waffle on it. You're not going to get too many good pitches to hit.
And I know it's left on left, but lefties have actually got Hader a little bit this year. Like, do you consider it all shooting a lefty there? No.
Did he say might as well waffle at it? Was that the wording I heard?
I heard waffle. I don't know in the context in which he said it, but I did hear waffle.
So if we think the best Rojas could do is waffle at a pitch from a top reliever, why is he hit at the plate? He's talking about him like he's a 7-year-old playing against 12-year-olds in Little League. Give us your best shot, kid. Swing the bat. Like this division could come down to one game.
I believe in you.
This division could come down to one game. And it felt like last night the manager's like, what are you going to do? We'll get him tomorrow. 215-592-9494. Where do you come down on last night? A frustrating loss for the Phils. They started a road trip. Ranger was brilliant, as he's been for the better part.
Get that bread.
Well, he's going to get that bread. It's a matter of who's going to give it to him. But he is – and the Ranger thing, we have so far moved past him going to the bullpen. Like, he can't. He's too good as a reliever right now for that to be an option for the Phillies. But the loss last night – Rojas, Topper, who do you blame? You can blame Nebraska if you want to.